Oh, let's go to this. This is too funny. So, folks, do we have what was the, it wasn't Ron Popeil. Was it Ron Popeil who came up with this? Do you not know who I'm talking about? Matt, will you Google Ron Popeil spray on hair? I think it was Ron Popeil who marketed this at one point. In show business, you will come across people who, we're going to put this up first. In show business, you come across people who have maybe bald spots or maybe thinning hair on the sides. I know of some actually a major nightly talk show host who, the non-news sphere, although I imagine there's some in this, who, employ different types of spray-ons to create a sense of density in their hair. This has been a long term. I mean, this product's been around for a long time. Prior to high definition TV, when you could get away with a lot of stuff. And, sometimes it's a function of lighting and how close you are and this and that. And certainly entertainment lighting is designed to be softer. Now, this is the product. It's spray paint, basically, your hair away. It's not paint. It comes out sort of...
With thinning hair or bald spots, GLH solves the problem instantly. GLH is not a paint or a cover-up.
It's not a paint.
Amazing powder that clings to the
it's basically a sticky powder. You spray it on, and they called it GLH at the time. And, it more or less effective, pretty quick anyways. But they still use this. And like I say, I know of a... And I think if you were to go back and look at some of the footage from this guy 5 or 6 years ago, you would see he was balding. And then all of a sudden at one point, after he lost a little weight, he was no longer balding. That's fine. I mean, it's done. It is a sign of vanity, and there's obviously some pressure to look younger on television. And politicos are not necessarily unsusceptible to these same urges. There's been times I thought maybe I should dye my hair or something like that. People do it. It's a lot more common now, I think, for people to do it. I'm a little too lazy to maintain such things. So I bring you Face the Nation. And to be a crony for Donald Trump at this point, the pressure is intense. And when you go on television, and maybe you're trying to maintain your power in the administration with all the changes that are going on. There's a new chief of staff coming in. There could be new Department of Homeland Security. Maybe you're a little bit insecure about your position there. Maybe you're Stephen Miller, for instance. This guy, here he is. And now, if Stephen Miller is looking at you, he seems a little bit different. Do we have a picture of Stephen Miller from just the last time he was on TV? Because Stephen Miller, of course, aside being a someone who on the inside I think is dark and ugly, is his I don't want to say evil. I don't usually talk in that way, but just really despicable. Here he is. He's wearing shades, and look at him. He's got a receding hairline. Many people do. Many men do. He cuts it close. He shaves it tight because. That is a better look, or a more modern look.
That's not bad at all.
No. And
that's what I would do.
As you can see, at the top of his head, his hairline basically starts, back, I would say about halfway through. And then he's got a little tiny bit, but very sparse up front. But, and then something happened. He went on Face the Nation. And all of a sudden he has a widow's peak. Is that what you call that?
Yep.
Yeah, a widow's peak that comes down across his forehead. And that is, you wouldn't notice it, except for if you were to almost go to a different angle. Let's play this. Here's Stephen Miller, incidentally. I don't even know what he's saying here. It's something despicable. I'm sure he's talking about why we should be horrible to, what's that? Oh, Obamacare. Now, we will talk about Obamacare in a moment. A incredibly partisan Trump-appointed judge, I believe, in Texas.
One of the good ones.
ruled on this. We will talk about that in a bit. But let's watch and listen, this is juvenile. It is puerile. It is silly. And the only reason why we're pointing this out is because Stephen Miller knows that Donald Trump scrutinizes the performance of his cronies on television and wants them all to look as good as he does when they go on television. And so this puts incredible pressure on a guy like Stephen Miller, who has only to offer an completely unreserved hatred of immigrants and brown people as his selling point, and that's getting old. So he's got to keep up appearances, and so he has a lot of pressure to look good, and so he clearly asks the makeup people, "Can you spray on a widow's peak onto my head?" And the problem is, and everybody who's involved in television knows this, he's got two problems. One is high definition, and the lighting on a news show is much harsher than it would be on a television show, like a fictional show. And two, your makeup people and your lighting people, if they don't like you, can make you look really bad. And I suspect both those things are at play.
And good morning and welcome to Face the Nation. We begin today with White House Senior Advisor Stephen Miller. He is the president's point person on policy. Good to have you here in studio.
That is a very weird pattern of hair. It looks like literally you drew that on to him on the TV.
Did he not know they're going to have cameras on the side of the set?
I don't think he could see it. I don't think he could see what it looks like. He just looks in the mirror in front, and it looks good to him. No one's going to notice that it looks like someone spray painted that on. All right, let's keep going. Do we have another angle? Because I think there's a... Wow.
It's great to be here. Thank you. Merry Christmas.
And Merry Christmas to you.
Oh,
this
I just want to make a point of saying
Merry
Merry Christmas,
down
too. What a
Obamacare is
scumbag.
unconstitutional. This could put at risk about 20 million Americans who rely on it for coverage, including Medicare and Medicaid. That numbers from the Kaiser
look at that
Family
hair.
Foundation.
Can anybody see this?
What is your reaction, and how do you reassure those Americans that they're okay?
Well, obviously, there's no change immediately in Obamacare.
Wow, but pause it right there. Like, even that. Like, how did his hair on the top of his head if this was done properly, they would have put it on the sides too, so that it
the color matches a bit better.
Yeah, even if it was done properly, does he think people haven't seen pictures of what he looked like before?
People get away with this, but that side right there, that's, if you want to find out who I'm talking about, the talk show host, go back 2 or 3 years on all the talk show hosts, look at a little bit, and that's the giveaway. It's that side right there where it's like, sometimes people, close up like this, like I think I have that too. It may, my hair's a little longer right now when it's short, it's just not that dense. And sometimes people spray in there. But they should have done that because it really looks bad. And I know, Stephen, you're not going to be watching us assess this, but I hope that our talking about it will get other people, will add to the cacophony and the chorus of people talking about it, and will embarrass you. And Donald Trump will fire you, not because you're a horrible scumbag, but just because you're a laughing stock.
It looks like chocolate astroturf.
Yeah, keep going.
Been a nationwide injunction.
And your
Obamacare
makeup
was
is
ruled
bad,
to
too.
be unconstitutional. We've always known that Obamacare was unconstitutional. The more important question is whether Democrats are going to work with Republicans once Obamacare is ultimately
Doesn't it
struck
look
down,
like
which we
his
believe it will
makeup
be,
ends
to come
right
up with a
halfway down
replacement
his
plan that
cheek?
protects pre-existing conditions, helps the 28 million Americans who, because of Obamacare, still don't have access to health insurance, and keeps prices low through robust competition.
So to be clear there, you're predicting that this goes to the Supreme Court. and that
Wow,
the
his
Supreme
hair's
Court ultimately
really thin
strikes
back
down.
there, but
I
thick
believe that's
right
the
up
likeliest
front.
outcome because Obamacare has always been unconstitutional.
Yeah. Now,
Wow. I have a couple points on this, but I can wait till the end if this is
No, go
there's
ahead.
more of this clip.
No.
Because the clip is very important. Okay. There's where to begin. I always figured he was one of those young Republicans who just wills himself to start balding in like 5th grade, but maybe Trump wanted him to join him in having like a confusing, unsettling fake hair situation.
There's
on
not enough
television.
time for you to grow the swoop. It's just not. It's going to take you years. So in the meantime, spray it on.
Also, it never ceases to blow my mind that this guy is the exact same age as me. We were both born in 1985. What the fuck?
Well, now, Jamie, of course, you spray on your hair, but yours is much longer. How do you get that effect from a can?
It takes a really long time.
That's sometimes when we're late, that's because we're just waiting because Jamie's just spraying it on time, spraying it. It's just like a whole process. It's really difficult to watch.
Also, that guy lost a student government election to the Cobra Snake guy, the party photographer, when he was in high school, and that never ceases to amuse me.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, I'll show you. He's hilarious.
All right, well, let's